Woo!
Woo!
What's up? Oh my gosh! Wait a second. Let me check my glasses here. You're not Holden. What?
I'm not filling
Oh
in
my
today.
gosh.
Will Thomas out here.
Oh, dude.
Honored
you're
to be
so
here.
much cuter. Oh my gosh, dude. Stop. Oh, Will, thanks for filling in last second. I really appreciate it. Wanted to get you on the pod. Recurring guest, now first-time co-host, Jets aficionado, Big
Right.
J journalist, second Big J journalist we've had on the pod 2 weeks in a row. So, we're a pro journalist podcast here, but so excited to have you back, So, dude, let's get into it. How was your weekend?
Oh, amazing. Well, besides that Jets loss, pretty good.
Yeah. No, for sure. Cool. Dang, man. Well, any games stick out to you?
This past weekend or upcoming?
This past weekend, just like one good game, one bad game.
I continue to think that the Steelers are going to keep those games close, and I know they were playing the Eagles, but for a little while I was like, man, maybe Kenny Pickett will get something together here, and then I just checked back in with it an hour later, and AJ Brown went off, and the Eagles just showed who they are.
Yeah, would have hated to play against AJ Brown in fantasy. But,
oh my god!
But I played.
So that was the one where I was like, fantasy is a whole nother conversation, man. Oh my goodness gracious!
It's rough out there.
That one was a little weird. Let's see who played last night. I watched a little bit. The Green Bay Packers continue to just.
They are not.
Yeah, so that one was it was good to see. The Bills are just rolling like they have been all year, and I know you're happy about that. So those were a couple of the ones. I was on a flight for the majority of the early games, and I was on the road driving for the afternoon games, and then got to listen to some on the radio and watch the games last night. But yeah, it was a brutal. Once you get that service back on your phone, once you land.
Just
on the flight,
and
I just looked at it and was like, Jets 17, Patriots 22. So that was killer, and so that really hurts.
That's a tough one because y'all were I don't know, kind of like a surprise. I think, I don't know. I only saw the highlights. It looks like Zach Wilson just didn't have the best game, and also I think missing Breece Hall, that's a bad injury. And it's funny, you were at his alma mater this weekend, Iowa State.
That's
Checking
right.
out the next prospects, just a little light scouting report.
I was watching those Sooners. I was getting out there to watch. It was Boomer Sooner out there.
It was shockingly and surprisingly I don't know. My expectations for the Sooners are just non-existent anymore. But yeah, man, that stuck out to me as well. I'll definitely talk about the Bills, because it's partially biased, but I think the thing that stuck out to me the most about that game was I was right the whole way. Last week I was everyone's this is such a large spread, there's no way. And they covered it by half a point, but realistically it's we should have won by another field goal, because that last interception by Josh was just him forcing it, and just I think if that doesn't happen, then we're winning by 13 and not 10, cover the spread. But I think that was the worst game we played all year, and we still won by 10. So I think that's super great.
So question real quick.
Yeah.
The Tanyan push off, pass interference?
Pass interference all day.
Okay.
Dude, textbook. It was past 10 yards. You can't. I kind of thought it was, but maybe it wasn't. I could see the argument both ways, but obviously, you get that call, you're going to roll with it. And I'm kind of yeah, dude, he just, but
it's funny to see Rodgers show some emotion. Why can't, he show that emotion every game, right?
No. And then, I was watching the game with my girlfriend last night, and we're watching it, and I think it was when Packers were still down by 3 scores or whatever, and they just go to a shot of Aaron Rodgers on the sideline when the Bills are on the offense, and he's just chatting it up with Aaron Jones and someone else, and kind of just laughing. And my girlfriend's does he care? Does he want to win this game? Is this just a joke to him? And I'm it's just been so easy for so long. He's been so used to winning. I guess he really doesn't. But I mean, that was my biggest critique was like, I didn't feel they were playing to win. Like, it was so dumb. Chris Collinsworth, who I hate, like, as an announcer, he's like, yeah, they're really doing great here. The Packers, you know, they're just running the ball so well. I'm like, they're down by 3 scores and they're just killing clock. Like,
Right.
I was like, they're not going to, it's them versus the clock now and they're losing that battle. So I
That
didn't think they played to
40-yard
win.
toss, though, to make it 27-17, that was a
That
heck of a
hurt.
throw, though. That
That
was one where
was.
I was like, wow, okay, like, he still has it. Just doesn't, have anyone to throw it to.
I know, but like I've been saying it all year, and I still will. It's just like I feel it's his fault. It's like he, you literally go to your employer, your organization, and be like, "Hey, you make me the highest paid quarterback, or I just retire." And
Right.
then you wonder, like, why don't I have anyone around me? It's like you have old ass Sammy Watkins who had 2 receptions last night. Like that's your big free agent move, you know? So
Right.
and they're down thin. They had a lot of injuries last night. Did you see that guy get ejected?
I was listening to it then. He punched like an inactive tight end or something.
Dude,
like
he just
that.
shoved him. It was the craziest thing I've ever seen. And like, I wish I was recording because like Morgan's sitting next to me and her jaw was just dropped for like a solid 20 seconds because like she couldn't believe it. She was because they came back to it. Initially, they were like, yeah, like personal foul, whatever. And then they stopped before the next play and they're like, yeah, upon review from New York, like number whatever has been like voided from the game. He has to leave right now.
I was listening because I pulled up. I had it was the Bills broadcast on XM radio that I was listening to, and they like went down to the sideline guy. And he was talking about it, and then they got like more word, and then like they found out they're like, yeah, it was because one guy thought he punched a coach,
yeah, that's
and
what
then
they
the
said
other guy
initially.
was like, no. Yeah, and then it was an inactive freaking player.
Yeah,
I
just
can't
a guy on the
imagine,
practice
dude.
squad.
I thought I was listening. I was like, kicked out of the game? Like, what did he just do?
I mean, because initially, like, they had a hot mic situation where the ref was like, yeah, touch the coach. And they're like, yep, touch the coach. And they're like, oh, shoot, like, turn it off. And, like, you look on the replay, Sean McDermott's right behind the player and, like, kind of holding him. And I was kind of surprised he didn't, like, because the player was going out of bounds, like, and like rolled for a tackle and like the guy who he shoved was like kind of almost trying to help him up, you know, like watch out for his legs and also help him up. And like I guess he didn't like him putting his hands on him and like instead of just letting him know, like he also was like, you know, just get the F off me, dude, you know. So that was crazy. But I was hyped for that. I don't like Aaron Rodgers. I'm glad we were able to do that. He is still winless in Buffalo. And the Bills are still undefeated off a bye under Sean McDermott. So kept that rolling. Let's see, a bad game.
Love that stat. Love that.
That's sad, dude. Oh, let's see. Something that was bad this week. Dude, how about those Seahawks just kind of rolling the Giants, getting a tough win at home? Like surprise team of the year? God, dude, I hate it.
I listened to that one too. You know, it's on the Giants broadcast and they're just like listening and they're just, you could just hear it like in their, you gets to a point in their voices. They're just like, you know, Daniel Jones, you know, or Saquon, you know, they're always just like, they just didn't do enough and like they need to be there. They're like kind of weird too. Like the defense is really good.
Yeah.
And it's the same story though. It's like the Jets and the Giants. Like this is the week where they kind of both like pulled off the mask and like, yeah, we're actually still just like the Jets and the Giants. Like, don't worry.
Like Halloween, it was me. It was old man Jenkins like the whole time.
And I would have gotten away with it.
Dude, it almost did, but I don't know.
But Geno Smith, dude, can you believe that? Like, dude, bring him back to the Jets, man. Come on.
It makes you think. I mean, when he was with the Jets, I remember he threw a perfect game once for y'all against the Falcons like forever ago. But I don't want to say he kind of is like not America's sweetheart, but everyone's always kind of like had a soft spot for Geno. Like, oh, remember that bowl game against Clemson when he was with West Virginia and he had Tavon Austin, you know? And like everyone was like, he always had this potential and just it never happened. But yeah, it's crazy. I mean, I think he's like the best QBR in the league like so far. And
dude,
the
Seahawks are the team. You know, I don't know what it is about them. It must just be the leadership, and it's weird because it is wild to see after Russell Wilson leaves, like all these storylines that are coming out, and like some of these like subtle disses that even the Seahawks players are making. You're kind of just like, and then that what is it? Kenneth Walker, the running back.
Yeah,
he has been absolutely like they've always had a backfield because you used to have Chris Carson, and he would,
Hmm.
every year 6 games in, Carson would go down with something, so it'd
Yeah.
have to be the next guy. And then now it's just like they're like the next man up with running backs. They're just like, hey, by the way, we have this guy. He's
Yeah. It's
freaking
almost like
putting
the
up,
Patriots.
yeah. And you're just like, where did this dude come from? So either way, that NFC West is gonna get dicey, nasty in the coming weeks.
I think it's their division to win almost. Like, I mean, that
Mm-hmm.
division stinks. I mean, the Rams do not look like they won a Super Bowl last year. They look so old.
So bad.
The Cardinals stink. I mean, and it's just like you're looking at it, and Seahawks are kind of in the driver's seat. And it's like if they can beat out the Niners somehow, then the organization looks so smart. After I think majority of people were like they are so dumb for trading away future Hall of Famer Russell Wilson. And meanwhile, the Broncos probably are going to have a pretty bad season. Rumors swirling of them losing their head coach. But well, we got a ton of buys this week. So, but you want to get in some picks, baby?
Let's get into them, dude.
Dude,
Lay
let's
them
do
on
it.
me.
Dude, starting off hot. All right, we got the Philadelphia Eagles going all the way to Houston, Texas. Who you got? Philly's favored big again, back-to-back
How
weeks.
big? How big?
13 points.
Yeah, I mean, I think that'll hit. That's David Smills though. They have some and Antonio Pierce, or who's the running
The running
back?
back. Yeah,
Something
Pierce.
they have they could be something next year, but it's still, is Lovie Smith still the coach down there?
Yeah, somehow.
Yeah,
I wonder if they'll give him another year.
I don't know, man. There's a lot of organizations who are just in bad places right now, but yeah, I think Philly just cannot be stopped right now. They showed their schedule last night too, and I looked at it and I was like, dude, they're like have a cakewalk to like 12-0 right now.
Yeah, they do. No, and it's like it's kind of weird because like I feel we just got into this new era where it's just like we added an extra game, we added an extra week of football, so quote unquote they could be the first team to go 17-0. And it's weird because I think everyone I've talked to, like Holden and like our guest last week, Gabe, it's just like this isn't a team. Like they're good, but they're not that good. They're not
right.
Tom Brady, Randy Moss, Patriots good. They're it's just like, and it's just crazy to me. But it is insane. I mean, I'm totally with you. I'm on the Eagles. Spoiler alert, this is one of my best bets. I don't have quite as big a card as last week, but I actually didn't do bad last week. I came out on top, on positive, so we'll take it. Looming economic crisis, followed my bets, win some money, And yeah, I'm all in on the Birds. Like, I know it's a large number, but they had a similar number last week against Pittsburgh. I think they cover this again, and especially because, I mean, this Texans team barely showed anything against kind of a subpar Tennessee team last week. So, yeah, I'm all on the Texans. I'm all on the Eagles. Oh, my God, I almost faked myself out.
Oh,
that would have been bad. That was
got to get redacted.
We're going to edit that out in post. Edit it out. We'll cut that. Oh, moving it on to an old school rivalry back in the day of two former GOATs, Colts, Patriots. The boy from Texas, Sam Ellinger, getting his first start in New England at Gillette Stadium. I can't figure out my head around this one. Tell me who's gonna win.
I mean, I feel like it's hard to bet against the Patriots at home. And, Ellinger might, he just needs some more time under him. But still, I feel like New England, ugly win against the Jets, but this will be an ugly game too. It'll be similar. What's the line on this one? Is it Patriots -3?
Yeah, I think that's what it is. Patriots -3 or Patriots -1. Let me pull it up on my phone, but I'll just I don't know. I'll talk about it some now.
It's just hard. No,
-5.5. That's kind of a large number.
New England.
Yeah,
Yeah, I could see this being like a field goal win.
Yeah.
Or like 3-4, like maybe similar to like the 22-17 with the Jets, but I don't think there's a lot of question marks. But Patriots, the defense is good, so yeah. I think that they'll intercept Ellinger twice.
I was really impressed with Ellinger. Like, I hate to say it because, like as a Sooner, and like Ellinger's famous for the whole like Texas won a bowl game and goes, "We're back." Like, but he had like he had one of the prettiest balls I've like seen all year, or like it was just on the money to shoot whoever their number one is right now. I can't remember his last name. I know he played at USC, but anyway.
Wasn't it? Is it Paris Campbell? Or
No, he's got a
no,
brother who's
it's
in the NFL too.
yeah, I know who you're talking about,
Yeah,
but I don't
yeah,
know.
yeah.
They
Whatever.
don't, yeah, they're, I don't know their receivers. I know it from fantasy. That's,
No, dude. I mean, it's just like, I mean, gone are the years of like Reggie Wayne and T.Y. Hilton, even. I'm like, is that dude even in the league anymore?
man,
Like,
we got Marvin Harrison Jr. over at Ohio State, though.
that's
So,
right. That's actually pretty electric. That's crazy. Time marches on. No, but he had a really pretty ball that actually would have put the Colts in the field goal position to beat the Washington Commanders. And for some reason, the guy has it in his hands and just drops it. It was just like the perfect pass. Like,
oh my
I would almost be
gosh.
more excited to see him get more passing attempts because I think being his first start, they really relied on the run game. That being said, wrapping up, I'm going on the Pats here. I mean, I hate the Patriots. Like, I hate the
Yeah,
Patriots.
we both do,
Like,
man.
and this is just a
We
bad
always have.
Patriots
Yeah.
team. Mac Jones
Hmm.
stinks. He's just a chubby, tall white boy out there. I honestly think Davis Mills would be better on that Patriots team than Mac Jones.
Yeah.
Like,
Maybe straight swap right there, trade right there.
maybe,
No, I'm
Belichick's
sure
always
Houston wouldn't
working.
give him up for Mac Jones, dude, of all people. I don't know if they could do that. Yeah.
Nah, it'd have to be one of those deals like how Jared Goff went to the Lions, and they're just like, yeah, we just need to get rid of a ton of cap space. So here's a first round pick, like, sort of deal. It's like, here's something insane that you just an offer too good to refuse. But yeah, so we're both on the Patriots. We're both doubling up
Hmm.
here. Well, I think this is my upset game of the week right here. Old rivalry. This was the NFL itself. Packers Lions playing in the Motor City. I'm picking the Lions. I'm doing it. I
Yeah.
I'm, I wanted to, but then I looked at I wanted to. I was like, no, it's Aaron Rodgers. He's owned Detroit for the last 15 years.
Hmm.
But then I look at the injury report, and there's just too many injuries on this Packers team. I
Hmm.
think DeAndre Swift another week being healthy, and I think Bills have kind of shown the blueprint. It's just like if you can limit Aaron Rodgers throwing and just make them eat clock, if you can outpass the Packers, you're going to beat them. So I'm taking the Lions, get a huge upset here at home, and
Yeah.
no one's going to tell me different.
I'm with you. I'm with you, man. I'm big on Jared Goff this year too. Most games he's kept him in it, dude, and he's shown signs that he, you know, is an above average quarterback. So I mean, I think so too. And the Lions, for the most part, they've been in the games, but I mean they've been blown out a couple of times. But still, for some of the big name teams, the big name games, they were in it. Week one Philly, they only lost. It technically lost really by 10, but they scored a touchdown at the end to make it a 3-point game and all that. But I think it's about time for the Lions to get a win and for the city of Detroit to be able to be happy about something this season is they beat Aaron Rodgers.
That would be, they may put a banner up in that one, like the Colts one, like AFC, like finisher or whatever. It's just going to be like, beat Aaron Rodgers. And at that point, like Aaron Rodgers has to retire. He's like, that's one of those where he's like, now I know I'm bad. Now I know I'm on a bad team when the Lions beat me. But yeah, dude, I hope Dan Campbell gets a win. I love him. I think he's a good coach. We all loved him on Hard Knocks, and just
Oh yeah.
at the end of the day, you got to win some games to keep your job. Personality it's not gonna keep you employed in the NFL.
I know, because he's a really likable guy, but I was listening to like on Part of My Take, they were like after like week 3 or 4, and he keeps saying the same thing, like that one's on me. And so after a little while, like you can't really buy that anymore. Be like, well, we get that it's on you, but like you got to see some kind of change. So I think that I made a good point about that. And I mean, I hope, maybe he can turn it around, make it some kind of season to where, obviously just not an awful season, just something to show like for next year, just of like, well, the classic things like, well, we finished the season with some momentum there, we might be able to hold on to that for next year. But the NFL, there's it's the NFL. he could be out of there, man, by the end. Not even he might not make it the end of the season. You never know with the Detroit, with the NFL, you know.
True.
So we'll see.
I need to get that quote on the pillow. You know, the NFL. It's the NFL. Dude, that's perfect. I love it. Yeah. Okay. Dang, we're both on those Detroit Kitties, baby.
Yeah, we did it all last year too. It's like, I think it's this week for the Lions. You just ride it until it actually happens.
But like, this Packers team isn't good. Like, and like, probably it's like, okay, like this is a solid bounce back game for them. But I'm like, I don't know. I think they are beatable, and I think if not now, then when? Because the Detroit team does have to get a win. They have offense. I think it would come down to like the last play of the game, but I think
they got DeAndre Swift. He's healthy again. So, you know, they have kind of him and Jamal Williams going after it. So I think, you know, the only thing you have to really worry about with Green Bay is the front, is getting the pressure on the quarterback on defense. Is them. They're big time part of that defense is the front 3 or 4. So if you're getting success, man, I think they could ride it all the way to the end.
Oh, here we go for Detroit just one time. Moving it on to a really weird game. Chargers Falcons playing in Atlanta. Falcons winning a barn burner. Currently number 1 in the NFC South. What's up with that?
And aren't they a game under 500 and first place in the NFC South?
Yeah, everyone in the NFC South has a losing record. But the Falcons had a thrilling overtime win against Carolina, even though they probably should have lost. But
because
Moore,
the dude took his helmet off, man.
Yeah, dude.
That's ridiculous. Yeah, that they called that though. But that's the rule, you know. You got to call it, you know.
Well, controversial. I saw on Twitter, Tony Dungy, Hall of Fame coach, you know, Super Bowl winner with the Colts. He actually said technically it shouldn't have been called because he was off the field. He took it off when he was on the other side of the end zone.
Oh.
So little controversy, but like I agree with you. Like I was watching it live, and you know said the same thing. I was like, that is so dumb. And then like you look at the missed extra point, and you're like, you know what? If it was 5-10 yards closer, I think it hooks in, and it's just. And you never go to overtime, and you never lose.
So that is what happened, because I missed that. He obviously, it's 15-yard penalty, pushed him back, and they missed the extra point and then lost in overtime, right? Correct?
Yeah. Dude, if you haven't seen the highlight of that catch, it was insane.
I saw the catch, but then I didn't know what happened after that. I just saw the whole thing on Twitter being like about DJ Moore costing them the game. And I was like, what did he do? And then I thought about it, and I was like, oh, I'm sure they had a chance to win right there at the end. His penalty pushes it back, and he hooked the extra point.
Yeah, that's a tough one. I mean, we'll see if there's any – I mean, Carolina's in free fall, firing their head coach, you know. Not a healthy quarterback in sight. So, but they're still covering some spreads. But we're on Chargers Falcons. Well, who's going to win this ball game?
And
Battle of the Ducks, Justin Herbert and Marcus Mariota.
Yeah, as weird as it sounds, dude, I'm going with Atlanta. I'm thinking Atlanta is going. Dude, the Chargers have looked so bad. The only person that Justin Herbert has been able to complete the ball to is dump offs to Austin Eckler. And it's killing me because I face him in fantasy like every week with all these people. And I'm like, stop throwing it to him, man. So I don't know. It might be one of those games where Herbert, you know, shuts down the haters and shows everyone like, this is who I really am. This is who I was all last year. But he just hasn't done it this year. And I think if Keenan Allen, dude, he's been out with that hamstring injury all year. If he's healthy now, maybe. So. But then Mike Williams just got hurt too, and he's going to be out for a little while, I believe. So I don't really know. And I think Hotlanta, I think they're hot right now, dude. They're hot.
I mean, low-key, they kind of are, and like they're making it happen some way, one way or another. Dude. That being said, I just I want to be with you on it. I just can't. I gotta go Chargers. I think they find a way, but I think this has to be maybe besides the Broncos. I think who else? Like so far, if we're gonna call this the halfway point of the season, has to be one of the most disappointing teams. Like this was a team that people were. I mean, all off season, how much did we hear about Herbert? How like, oh, he's the next Josh Allen. Watch out for him for MVP. Watch out for him for passing leader. Like make a big splash in the playoffs. And now it's like, they may not even make the playoffs. Like,
Yeah. I mean, they had heartbreak last year with the Raiders knocking them out when they
I
could have
know.
just waited, could have left it with a tie and let them
It's like,
in.
whoa,
But
whoa,
they were
whoa.
like, nah, like, don't, no. So I don't, yeah, they need to pick it up though. And their defense is really freaking good though. Khalil Mack has been doing Khalil Mack things. And I think, but I don't know, Mariota can run. I think no matter what defense you are, that's the thing where you're like, well, if they're not putting a spy on him and he's getting around and stuff like that, I think we'll see. But I don't know. There's something weird about what's going on in Atlanta right now. And I'm honestly all for it, though, dude. I'm all for it.
Must be something in the water down there in hot Atlanta.
Must be something in the Chick-fil-A sandwiches they're selling at the stadium, dude.
In the Sweetwater 420s, baby. All right. Well, you know what game we got to talk about next.
Yep.
This one just, I hope it doesn't tear our friendship apart. For our audio listeners at home, for those of you who don't know, Will is a diehard Jets fan. I'm a diehard Bills fan. So, in fun fact, I'm actually going to this game in MetLife with my girlfriend, club level somehow. We lucked out on some good tickets. I know, I'll send you a ton of snaps,
Yes.
You got to tell all the New Jersey Jets fans to be nice to me, So, but tell me why you think the Jets are going to win. That just sounds gross to say out loud.
The only way the Jets win this game is if legitimately what has to happen is there has to be a momentum shifter, like a pick six, and then a holdout on the Jets. That's a really good defense. Everyone knows it's a good defense, but there needs to be offense. The only way that this is even close, dude, I'm assuming, I would expect this I'm hoping it'll be 2 touchdown win by Buffalo. I don't want it to get too ugly. And I think the defense can keep the Jets in it. There might be some garbage time points to make it look even worse than it is. But I mean, the only way for real for the team to win is for Zach Wilson to step up.
Yeah. He has to look like a first rounder.
He's got plenty of receivers to throw the ball to. You got Elijah Moore, who once again isn't targeted. And so I'm like, why? Like, he's a big receiver. And he's got Conklin at tight end. We have, I think Corey Davis is out, but, you have Garrett Wilson. So there's like some pieces there to where, obviously I don't expect the Jets to win, but it's not even about this game. It's about for the rest of the season. Like, us fans need to see that Zach Wilson is the guy, because we've seen little tiny pieces of it all season where you'll see, like it's against the Pittsburgh game where he leads them back to the game-winning touchdown and just 10-yard passes, things, getting the ball, everything. So you can see him do it sometimes, but it's hard. So that's the only way is if Zach Wilson obviously has to step up and have the game of his life, and the defense has to keep doing what they're doing. But this is the best offense in the league, so I don't really know what they're going to do. Maybe Sauce Gardner can hold off Stephon Diggs, but then you have Gabe Davis over there. You have Devin Singletary who you can dump it off to. So I don't know, man.
It's tough. I mean, it's like weird for me because like something I've said like all year, and even like when we're talking about the off season, like our preseason episodes, is just I actually love this Jets team. Like that sounds weird to say out loud. I thought it had a great draft, a great free agency. I was like, dang, if Zach Wilson develops, I was like, this could be something. Like, I don't want to say where this rivalry is back, but like I feel like the past almost like 6-7 years, it just really, not since that Ryan Fitzpatrick year has this really been a tough rivalry,
Right.
And I like Robert Saleh as a head coach. I think he's
me too. Yeah.
And like you talk about that, it's just like it's tough in the NFL to have a job when you have 2 back-to-back losing seasons. Like, it really is a turnstile unless you finish with some momentum, and it's like, well, let's get one more off season, let's get one more draft, and let's see what we can do. But I'm with you because I love Sauce Gardner, and honestly, he kind of scares me. Like, I know Jair Alexander had a pick last night, but I don't think he's that good of a corner, honestly. Like, but Sauce, oh gosh, what he did at the Packers, I was like, let's go. I think this would be a different game if Brees Hall was healthy, but
Absolutely.
I'm with you. I'm honestly just hoping that we have no injuries because, like, I think everyone just talks a lot of crap on MetLife Field, on just like the quality of the turf, and they're like,
Yeah, that does worry me too.
mhm.
That is something, yeah, that it just happens, and you start to see everyone, even like current players, who are like saying that they need to do something about that. So that is something that, yeah, that you have to worry about.
Well, it's not just that. It's even like I think LA's SoFi Stadium, which is much newer than MetLife, but they're even like, why don't we play on grass? And like, if you ever want to see something cool, like look up Las Vegas's. They actually have a machine that wheels in the entire grass from outside. They have like a special door, and they just wheel in like real grass, but they like grow it outside.
Yeah.
It is the most. They're like, then they'll make so how much money, and they're gonna like tell us like, oh, maintaining real grass just costs too much. We're gonna use turf instead. And I'm just like, yeah, that's kind of lame.
Yeah, I think everyone would like to play on just grass, dude. I mean, just no matter who you are, like going out and like throwing the football just on like
Yeah,
out at the park on just grass. You're just like, this is just it's nice, you know.
dude, getting
So I get
tackled
it.
on it, like, I
Yeah,
don't
getting
know.
all the freaking grass stains on your jeans from playing out all day.
Yeah, dude, takes me back. But oh, real quick, what do you think the spread is on this game?
Oof. I'm gonna go Bills -10.
Oh, that's close. It is higher than that. It's the same as the Eagles, actually, -13. This is a large spread.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, obviously, I'm going with the Bills here. I'm not going to talk about it too much because I think the Bills just are that team. From my
Hmm.
perspective, I'm like, let's get a W. Let's not have any injuries. Let's like on to the next one. Like the rest of our schedule isn't that bad either. So let's just kind of like, I don't want to say cruise, but like let's make sure we finish AFC first overall, get home field advantage to the playoffs, and then just see what happens. But the weather's going to be beautiful in the stadium. It's going to be a weird 70 degrees in November.
That's what I like to hear, you know. That's like,
Makes
and
you
I
want
was
to go to the
thinking, you know,
beach, huh?
but
Go back to your fall guard days.
exactly, get me out there with all this, the bleached hair, dude, get
Yes.
everything,
Oh
man.
God,
But yeah, the Jets can probably win if it's a game like the Miami game. And you know, what if that
dude.
happens? What if it happens, dude?
Dude, stop. I hated that so much. I was like, and they did for weeks after. They were like, it's 120-degree heat index in the sun. And like on the other sideline, it's only like 80. I'm just like, this is mind-boggling that this is
That was
legal.
wild.
Like, dude, that's what they do to people in Gitmo. Like, like they're like, let's torture them. But I'm on the Bills, you're on the Jets. Let's just hope everyone has
Yep,
fun and no injuries on
yep,
either team, and
that's
and
right.
we'll still be friends at the end of this.
Always, no matter
Yeah,
what. And then we can start to think about New England next week for the Jets, and we'll go beat them this time.
that's
Yeah,
right, dude. Screw it. Dude, they're just bad, and their fans stink too. They're just smelly. No,
they're just, yeah. I mean, the whole Boston, just they've had so much success that everyone, they're, you know, so it is nice to see them. You know, I hope they can be even worse in the coming years, but
yeah,
we
yeah.
could just hope for it, right?
Nothing tastes better than sweet Patriots fans' tears. That's
Oh
just my two
yes,
cents. But
oh yeah,
we've been on this a lot. Let's move to a more local game here.
yeah.
The Vikings are coming from Minnesota to Washington. Does Washington stand a chance? I mean, they're on a win streak, but Vikings are top of the NFC North. They're at 6-1 themselves. They're a good ball team.
Um, for Washington, and I feel like every single fan is happy that for some reason Carson Wentz didn't want to throw the ball to the best receiver on the team, Terry McLaurin, and now Heineke is throwing it to him all the time,
Yeah,
and so that's been cool. But this is also like you think of the Kirk Cousins. I think this is the first time he's played in Washington since he left.
really? Okay,
I
that's
think that's the
interesting.
homecoming for Kirk, and I feel like Kirk is like, I feel like when he left, like Washington, like they're mean to him, dude. They don't fans don't like him. I'm like,
No,
what's
they
like going
don't.
on
They
here?
don't.
So
Holden hates him. He's like, oh, he's like Mr. 500. He wins as much as he loses. Like he's just Mr. Mediocre. Like,
is it a like a 1 o'clock game or something like that?
yeah, I think so. Yeah, 1 o'clock.
Okay,
So,
as long as it
prime
wasn't in
time.
prime time, I would pick Washington if it was in prime time.
Yeah. It's just weird because I like Heineke, but like I think the Vikings are just too loaded. Like I think it's the
Yeah.
healthiest, knock on wood, we've seen Dalvin Cook. I think the defense is fine, and Kirk is not making mistakes. Like, so.
Yeah, he's being a good game manager. He's not like thinking he has to do it all.
No.
And it's also nice when you do have the Dalvin Cook, because last year he tore his ACL like within like the first like 3 or 4 weeks. So it was it is nice to see him healthy, dude, because have we ever gotten to see a full season of him? I don't even know.
I don't think. I think like maybe one.
Yeah, I think the year after he got drafted, I think he tore it that year too. So
yeah.
But yeah, I'm all for it, and it is nice to see him out there. FSU guys out there just doing work. So I don't think Washington. No.
Yeah, I think
just big no.
I think we get brought down back to earth a little here. I mean, anything's possible, but this isn't the Colts. This isn't the Bears. I was like, the Vikings, I think we can almost confidently say, is a playoff team. Like, yeah. And the winner of the NFC North. They're beating the Packers probably twice this year. So
and it's not the classic like Vikings of where you see them imploding like they do most years. Yeah. This is like a team where you're like kind of like they're pretty set all around. So as long as something crazy doesn't happen, or Kirk Cousins doesn't have to do anything more than what he's doing, man.
Yeah.
So I think they're fine.
The only like X factor for me, and someone talked about with like Holden a lot and other Washington fans, is Chase Young. Like, I think he is trending to play this game, and part of me is like, how
really?
This? That's what Holden's been telling me, that there is a chance. Like, Ron Rivera apparently has been saying that he's trending that way, and there's no like setbacks for him. And like, it has made me wonder, like, if this is a guy who even just had half a sack in all of these games where they like lost, and like that essentially takes away a possession or a down, like how much closer are some of these games? As me being a Bills fan, a team with a fantastic pass rush that has bailed us out so much beautifully that we didn't have last year. And it's just, it makes me wonder, is because Montez Sweat is having a great year. Like, I'm like, we had Chase there. Is it almost like how Dallas's defense has been carrying them, But
yeah, you're right. I mean, it's good. I didn't even know. I mean, he's been out for a while. It's good to hear that he's coming back though, but yeah, I could see that. So, but we'll see,
We'll see.
Washington, they're back to 500. So, I mean, it's going to be trending in the right way. Yeah.
Every team in the NFC East has a winning record right now, which no one saw coming, I don't think. So
NFC Beast.
NFC Beast, baby. No longer the NFC Least. All right, we're both on the Vikings. Let's move it on to a weird game. I don't think I'm going to get a feel on it until we see tonight's game. But it's Panthers, Bengals. It's got to be Bengals. I'm just going to go Bengals. I'm just going to say it right here.
Yeah, I don't think there's much to talk about here. Besides, I mean, PJ Walker, dude, that's a great story that he has, and that's really cool. But, Cincinnati has really turned on the Jets, and that's all goes back to Joe Burrow getting some time. But I did forget that, I mean, Jamar Chase being out, but he still has like T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd out there. So I don't think, and then, Joe Mixon in the backfield. Yeah. Cleveland is weird. I know they've lost a lot of heartbreakers this year. So I don't really know about them still, especially with Jacoby Brissett at quarterback. Cause there's times when you're like, wow, that was a really good play by him. And then there's other times where throws a pick or something. Just so I don't know. Cleveland has just been disappointing, I think, to say the least, for everyone's expectations this year. And I just continue to see that. I don't think the Bengals will have a hiccup game. I think they're going to keep their head down and say, let's just go in and win,
I think it's the time for them, to just make that push. Like, we're winning the division. It's not going to be a toss-up between us and Ravens. Let's stack up division wins, and we'll host home field advantage, and hopefully that's enough. But I agree with you. I felt they were kind of almost had a little bit of a hangover from last year's Super Bowl run, even though they lost the big game. But yeah, they're kind of looking more back to where they were. And this Panthers team covers. I think I looked at it. I think I'm pretty sure that they're 8-point dogs. Cincinnati's favored 8 points, and I'm like, that's kind of big for me. I'm like, they covered last week. They're finding a way to win games. They're still in the NFC South. I really couldn't tell you. Devonta Foreman looks better than Christian McCaffrey did with them. So
that is true. There's a lot of potential upside on that Panthers team, but And I feel like it's going to be interesting either way. Because we'll see who the Bengals really are in the next 4 to 6 weeks with Jamar Chase out as well. You know, but yeah, it's just because keep forgetting we have Cleveland, Cincinnati tonight, man. Yeah,
I know.
I'm sorry. Yeah, that's right. That's what it is.
Yep,
but yeah,
that's right. The Halloween game, orange on orange, baby. You know, all the picks. Everyone in orange is on your team. All right, so we're both on the Bengals. Let's move it on to a weird toss-up, but definitely a competitive game. Raiders, Jaguars. Will, I know it's kind of stinky, right? Like, it's a weird one. Is there any way that you can talk me out of not picking the Jaguars here? Like, that just sounds weird to say out loud. Like,
yeah, who shut out the Raiders yesterday?
Saints, baby. Who dat? I mean,
these are both two stinky, smelly, no good, rotten teams right now, dude.
This Jags team isn't bad. I think they should have won, but I think Trevor just hasn't quite taken that step. He's obviously better than last year. I love seeing Travis, especially as a Travis fantasy owner.
Me too, man. Yeah.
Like, he's nice. He's nice, but yeah, man, Lawrence, I don't know, he's got to step it up. But this should be a winnable game. I mean, this
yeah.
I think we were talking about the Chargers being such a disappointment. I think this Raiders team, I mean, making a splash play in the offseason, getting Devontae Adams, being a playoff team last year, and now it's like, yeah, the season's kind of done unless they really win out, and like a lot of things happen. Like,
I think this is one of those games, like both of these teams like need this win so bad. They're both just like, this is one of those. I'm sure they're both looking at it being like, oh yeah, like this is one we can go in and win, you know? So yeah, Trevor Lawrence has some, you can see that he has it sometimes, but there are times when he's really bad. But it's also with Derek Carr, dude. Like, last year, you were kind of like, wow, this Derek Carr guy, man, he's really stepping up. He's really got it going on. And then this year, you're like, man, what's going on, dude? You have one of the best receivers in the league and the best tight end. Well, arguably the best tight end in the league. And and then you have Josh Jacobs in the backfield. It's like, what's the issue here? Like, I don't get it, man. I don't.
think it's the coaching, because they had a different coach last year. They had the interim, and now they have, I think, Mike McDaniels, former offensive coordinator for Patriots, and just like, I hate to say it, but it seems like Bill Belichick's underlings just never seem to work out, no matter where they go, like in what situation.
Yeah.
So
yeah, Josh McDaniel is not. I mean, obviously they're not going to get rid of him after a year, but the dude needs to really. It's like most coaches. It's the Dan Campbell situation too. It's like you got to put some wins together to show them that you know what you're doing.
Yeah.
And last year was one kind of interesting for the Raiders, but they rallied around the interim coach, and he's like a hard-nosed guy who just was like a player's coach. And so I think that Josh,
like, why didn't you keep him?
Yeah. Right. And now he's like the special teams coach in Green Bay.
Oh, that's him. Now that's interesting. Well, that's weird. That being said, I'm on the Jags. Who are you on?
I'm gonna go with the Jags, man. Yeah. I like seeing Travis out there. Travis Etienne is something nice, and as a fantasy owner as well, like I'm like, just keep giving him the ball, my friend.
I'm like, finally an RB1. I'm not just like, oh, fingers crossed. Fingers crossed, like him and Devin Singletary both get me 15 points, like off of catches and receiving yards alone.
Yeah, it's been a rough year in one of my leagues with. So I got if Dalvin Cook and Travis Etienne can stay healthy as my running backs, like I'll be all set. So,
dude, now
I'm here for all of them.
Yeah, because I mean, James Robinson no longer taking carries or touches away from him. You'll love to see it. But moving on to our surprise segment, Will. I hope you're ready for this. All right, one NFL coach that you can beat in a fist fight.
Oh God,
I know it's tough.
As funny as it sounds, I think I'm going to go Raiders coach Josh McDaniel, dude.
He kind of does have like a soft face. It kind of looks like He kind of looks like he would tap out quick. Like he doesn't look tough. He does not look tough. Maybe that's the problem. Maybe his players are like, I don't respect this guy. Like he's not even taking a punch, bro.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like, oh, you're like just like look too young to be here, man. He looked like he should be on the team. I think they just, the older guys, the respect level. He needs to win over that locker room, dude. That's what he's got to do it.
One way or another. All right, and one quarterback that you could beat in 40-yard dash.
One quarterback.
One starting quarterback.
40-yard dash.
40-yard dash. Who you quicker than, huh?
Oof. Oh, man.
Oof. If you want to, I don't know if you can repeat, but last week Gabe said Tom Brady. So I don't know if you can think of anyone else.
I don't know, dude. He's on the TB12 diet. You never know with that, dude.
Dude, the TB12. Maybe that's their problem. They're not letting Tom run it enough.
I'm gonna go. Oh man, sorry, I'm taking so long.
Oh, you're fine. Maybe not a starter, but maybe just like anyone who's on the NFL roster at the quarterback position, if that helps.
Well, that's easy, but I'm thinking of a starting. If any quarterback, I'm gonna do both. Any starting quarterback in the league, I'd go Sam Darnold. But starting quarterback, I would go with. Okay, who's down there? I'm gonna go.
Last year,
I'm gonna go Andy Dalton.
I actually like that. That's a good one. That's a good sleeper pick. I think you could outbeat Andy Dalton too. I like Andy Dalton on the Saints though. I think he's better than Jameis.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah. You just smoking the red rifle in a 40. Good Lord. Poor guy. Don't do it to him. All right. So back to picks. Here we go. We got 5 more games here. All right. Dolphins, Bears. It's got to be all Dolphins, right? Or have the Bears not figured it out?
The Bears, no, dude. They just traded away Roquan Smith too.
They did.
I think Tua's that. Oh my God, that's gonna. The Miami might beat them by 3 touchdowns.
Yeah. No, I forgot. I think it was before the trade got announced, but they were only favored by 4.5. And I think that's almost a disrespectful.
Really?
Yeah. I know they barely beat Detroit last week, but this, and I hate to say it is a good team, and Tua is having the best year of his career. Hopefully he stays healthy, but
you can't stop, dude. Tyreek Hill is every
monster.
Single week, dude. It's 11 catches for 180 yards, and you're just the dude doesn't even have touchdown catches. He's just catching these, and I'm that's crazy. And you're well, once we take out Tyreek. Jalen Waddle's right there, dude, and that guy is tough, man.
Yeah, he's a fast guy too. They have a fast offense.
So, yeah, as much as it pains me because, they're in our division and everything, but the Dolphins are I think they're back to being what they were those first 4 games of the season,
I agree.
And so the Bears, I don't know. Justin Fields has had a couple good games, but he can't do it all, and this might turn into a game where he thinks he needs to do it all again, and it might get ugly,
Yeah, no, I'm with you there. I know you want to say the Bears are at home and you want to give a home field factor, but I think trading Roquan Smith, a guy who wanted to trade at the beginning of the season because they said they were going to franchise tag him at the end of this year, and he was either give me a long-term deal or just trade me. I think that kind of was a sign of, unless you got a deal that this was the best deal that we're going to get. But it almost kind of seems like we're handing in the towel. We know we're kind of out of it. Let's just get picks, But
I think it's tough to see that though with a young quarterback though. For a young quarterback to see all his teammates, Yeah, that's true. I guess
they're not tied to him.
Yeah.
They could ship.
I'm at the point where it's just you feel bad for the Bears, and that's sad when it comes from a fan of a team like the New York Jets.
Yeah. No, for sure, but they are a perennial. I don't want to say not a powerhouse, but it is a team that has a strong fan base and people are really big on, and people still talk about the '85 Bears defense. And you and me, our generation, it's we liked watching Jay Cutler. Those were fun teams.
Brian Urlacher, man, I had an Urlacher jersey when I was in middle school. Yeah,
he was a beast. He was a monster. But the only thing I have to say about this is I love how you brought up Tyreek Hill and his usage, and this is backtracking a little to our last game, but I don't understand why the Raiders don't just copy that. It's just like we're talking about
Mm-hmm.
probably the 2 highest paid wide receivers in the league. And it's just like, just feed Devontae Adams the ball until he throws up. It does not matter if he scores, just have him get you yards, get you catches, your offense runs through him. So I like that that would turn
It's
their
what
season around.
Arizona's doing right now,
Yeah,
man,
with
with D-Hop
D-Hop.
back.
Yeah.
Kyler has gotten him like 19 targets a game. And I'm like, why doesn't everyone else do this? You know, it's like not that hard to literally make your number one wide receiver happy.
Yeah.
It's called throwing the ball to him. And if he's going to show who he really is, he's going to make the catches, you know? So I agree.
Yeah. No, so it's just like, it's weird. It's just like, I know it's hard because it's football, and but it almost seems like other people have figured it out. So get it together. But moving on here to a team we talked about earlier, NFC West divisional matchup, Seahawks Cardinals in the desert. Well, speaking of D Hop, I mean, do they have a chance of getting their season back on track with a division win here?
This is a tough one. This is kind of one of those where you call it kind of like a trap game. If you're Seattle, you're kind of like, we kind of have to win this game. But I think if the Cardinals can somehow win this game, you start to just kind of get back to being like, well, and you'll see it the next week if they win, that analysts will come out and be like, they have a lot of potential. And I think just having DeAndre Hopkins back, though, is big no matter what team you are.
Yeah.
And it's like what Kyler's doing, it might all come together, next week. But I also don't know. Seattle is really solid, and they're working exactly like they did. They look like they did when they had Russell Wilson, dude. They have the long ball, Tyler Lockett, deep threat, who's just there.
Yeah.
And then you have, I don't know if DK played last week or not, this week or not. And, DK is a solid guy as well. And then the backfield, dude, the freaking Kenneth Walker is putting up like 180 yards a game.
Nuts.
And I just don't think, I don't know. I think Seattle's going to keep it rolling, but it is one of those games where it's weird because the NFC West is just a strange,
it is
strange
not
division, dude.
I
don't even know.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Super weird. I'm totally with you on that, and I love the comparison of comparing it to old Seattle teams. It's starting to make Phil Carroll look real smart. Because strong run game, and just, throw when you need to, but you have explosive guys who can. And Tyler Lockett, I think, has to be a Hall of Famer at this point. I think he's never had a bad season, and I think it's a compliment to him that he's doing it with Geno, but even though Geno's having the best year of his life. But
dude, yeah.
I'm with you on that.
Sorry, I'm laughing because he said Phil Carroll, and that was just really funny to me.
Oh, dude, that's my thing. I have a personal vendetta against Phil Carroll, so I'm refusing to call him by his real name. But at the same time, he's kind of winning me over this season. I think if somehow they find a way to make the playoffs, and especially because I bet against their win total, I bet that they wouldn't win over 5.5 games, and they're at 5, which I feel pretty confidently I'm going to lose that bet, barring divine intervention. So maybe if I lose that bet, I'll give Phil his name privileges back, because I used to be a big Phil guy. I used to be wow, and then I'm no, he was kind of a scumbag at USC. He lost Reggie Bush's Heisman. He gets to skedaddle off to Seattle and win a ring. No repercussions to him or his career,
I understand. No, I get it.
Yeah. So, and then I thought he was wasting Russell Wilson's talent, and apparently Russell Wilson was wasting Russell Wilson's talent.
Yep. Yeah.
So,
wow.
But I'm with you on it fully. I'm on the Hawks as well. Especially with that new Modern Warfare that just dropped. Kyler's been busy,
I know. Yeah, he's already 0-1, dude. It dropped on Friday, so.
Makes you think, makes you wonder. Let's move it on to last year's NFC Championship game. LA Rams back in Tampa. 2 banged up old teams, not looking like themselves the past 3 years.
That's another ugly one, man.
Yeah,
golly,
right?
There's some ugly matchups this week.
But Tom Brady off a bye, I really want to take this Bucs team. I can't remember.
Yeah.
I think someone on Barstool Sports Advisors, friends of the pod, I think, like said that either Tom Brady is really good after a bye or really bad off of a bye. And like, I mean, obviously this is a whole different year, him going through a divorce, so who knows? But I really want to take the Buccaneers. Who are you on?
Yeah, I feel like that defense just needed some rest, dude. It feels like, 'cause they still have all the same players for the most part, and they're a good defense. And it's like, I think, coming off a bye, having some rest, I think the Buccaneers will. I mean, defenses continue to just haunt Matt Stafford, and even more if Cooper Kupp's potentially out this week. I think they announced it's like not like a bad sprained ankle, but it's like something that he's dealing with. So,
because some of this is questionable.
know,
I know it's Monday, so it's still early. Like things can change.
I think Tampa will get it's in Tampa as well.
At home, yeah.
LA is just, I don't know, dude. They're one of those teams where they have to show me something. They're gonna have to have a win where you're like, okay, like they're good.
I mean, they can't run the ball, and they paid Allen Robinson a good amount of money and nothing out of him. Matthew Stafford just will not look his way. It's like Kupp, and then like, okay, check it down to Higbee,
Yeah, it's crazy how many names they used to have, and now I'm like, I don't even know who's on the team anymore. Besides, obviously, the defense, you have the big names, Donald and Jalen Ramsey. But it's like the offense is just like, Allen Robinson, I don't know what the heck's up there. The dude just doesn't want to throw the ball to him. And then Kupp's got 18 targets a game, but they're all like 5-yard gains across the middle, and you're just like, you can't win like that. And running back Cam Akers, not really sure what's going on with him, with off the field or just waiting on a trade, not wanting to play. And Henderson's just not the guy. They need someone else. They used to have Sony Michel. I don't know where Sony Michel's at now. He's somewhere else.
He actually plays on the Chargers, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah, which is kind of weird. I'm like,
honestly, I don't know, dude. The Rams I'm actually pretty happy about it. I've never really been like a big Rams guy, but
I like them a little better when they're in St. Louis, because I was like, that's just kind of random. Why does St. Louis have a team,
I always like those teams, yeah.
Yeah. Man, and it's just tough because I know the Bucs, I think they lost linebacker Shaq Barrett for the year. So I think
you're right.
I think their defense is hurting, but I'm just going to pick the Bucs. I mean, Tom Brady at home off a bye, unless Cooper Kupp is healthy. If Cooper Kupp is healthy, I'm switching it to the Rams. That's my asterisks on that one.
I get it, man. I don't know. That's still like there's been some matchups this week. I'm just like, these are
kind of stanky.
Like, I mean, I'm not in the mood for dinner anymore after a couple of these, my friend.
Spoiled my appetite. My appetite. Bone apple teeth. All right, well, we got 2 games, so we're going to finish strong. The Sunday nighter right here. Big AFC matchup. Titans, Chiefs, Malik Willis. Is that right? Malik Willis? Yeah. Getting his second start.
No, really?
I think so. I mean, Tannehill, was he out or just out for 1 week? Like,
I don't know. I'm just, I was like more like, I don't know. Because Liberty, Malik Willis, dude.
Big name, big Virginia guy. Where did he play before? I know he transferred. But I feel it was like Alabama or something. That's not right.
It was somewhere else. It might have been.
It was big.
I know. You're right. I'm not sure where.
I'll have to look it up after this, but this game is insane. Kansas City is favored by 12.5 points. Like, Vegas is
against Tennessee?
Yeah, is just drunk on this game. Like, I know Tennessee sneaked one out over division rival, just feeding Derrick Henry the ball 30-plus times. But that's just such a large number.
That is a big number.
Like,
I don't. Because, I mean, why wouldn't they continue to feed Derrick Henry 30 times again this game? And... oh, man. You said 12? 12 and a half?
12.5, man. 12.5. Makes no sense.
I don't know.
Sense.
I think that's one of those where that could be a steal to bet. So, obviously, the Chiefs kind of have their swagger back. And then they just traded for a receiver. They got Tony from New York. I think the Giants. Is that right?
Yeah. He's supposed to be not bad.
And so they just look like they're meshing, dude. That whole receiving core just seems like they're all like good friends. And then obviously you have Mahomes and Travis Kelce.
Yeah.
And I don't really know much about the defense that much this year. I know they've been. I mean,
Yeah.
I miss having Honey Badger on that team, but
Dude, he's back home.
Yeah, he's back home in
Big
New Orleans.
Easy. Yes, sir.
Yeah. So I don't think the Chiefs will have trouble. I just don't see it being some kind of like blowout like Vegas is saying, you know?
I don't either. I mean, I'm on the Chiefs. I have no reason not to. I mean, I thought they won a great game the other week against San Francisco, a team with a tough defense. Granted, not at peak form with new running back Chris McCaffrey. I think if Malik Willis starts, I think they hit this number. I looked at his stats before like this, and I was not impressed. I think he threw for like 80 yards. They really just played the most conservative ball. I mean, they are a run first team, but they really just literally, I think they overfed Derrick Henry, looking chunky after all them carries.
Hey, he's on my fantasy team, so don't be saying stuff like that.
Dude, that freaking crushed me, bro. It's the worst. I'm on the Chiefs. I don't know about the spread. I'm rethinking it. I was thinking one thing, now I'm thinking another. All right.
I don't know if they're, and it's weird as a young quarterback, they're a little bit like, I don't know if we can just kind of like let him off the leash fully to kind of just go be him. So I don't know, but we'll see, man. We'll see.
I mean, let's see if Tannehill plays. I think that'll be a big marker. But finishing it up, Monday night, speaking of Honey Badger, in the Big Easy.
No way.
Yeah, dude. The Baltimore Ravens with new linebacker Roquan Smith, who knows if he'll play or not, in this game, coming all the way down to the Saints, all right?
Wow.
You taking New Orleans here? You
taking
Andy Dalton, the guy
I'm going New Orleans here.
Yeah, even though you can beat their starting quarterback in a 40-yard dash?
Yeah, I'm going New Orleans. Andy Dalton, 4 touchdown passes, 4 interceptions as well, though. No.
Oh, no. Dang. You almost had me. I was like,
no, I mean, I don't know. I mean, New Orleans, they're a weird team. And Baltimore is also a weird team. I don't know, like, what's going on with them. And the front on New Orleans, the Saints front has always caused trouble, no matter if you're a mobile quarterback or not. So that's Monday night. But I also feel like the Baltimore is in like a pivotal part of their season. Like they need to start putting some wins together. And Lamar Jackson is Lamar Jackson. So just for the hometown crowd, I'm going to go Saints here. I'm going to go Saints win this game against Baltimore. We'll go Saints 34, Baltimore 27.
I like that. Dang, it's a high-scoring game. We'll take the over. Book it.
Andy Dalton's going to want to get back out. He'll say, I used to play for Cincinnati. I used to have, the rivalry with Baltimore. So, yeah.
Knows him well. I'm with you. I'm on the Saints here. I like this Ravens team. I think it's always a well-coached team. I think it's just health issues. Like, I think at wide receiver, they're kind of busted. I think at running back, they're really struggling. Lamar cannot do everything. I think the defense is not as good as it used to be. I think they got a close win against a banged-up Bucs team the other week. I'm going to take the Saints. I mean, Alvin Kamara looked like an absolute stud. Like peak form. I mean, hopefully Michael Thomas comes back healthy. I think Chris Olave is making a good case for Offensive Rookie of the Year. He's just a stud. So I think it's all who dat gonna beat them Saints. Who dat.
That's right. Who dat say they gonna beat Lil Wayne.
They're not. You can't beat Lil Wayne. He's the GOAT, dude. All right, so that does it for picks. So we're gonna move it into best bets. You got any best bets, Will?
No. Do you have any for me?
Yeah, dude. Hey, take the Bills. No kidding. No. So I have not quite the same as large of a, obviously because there's bye weeks. I do realize this is still a lot for a couple of games out here. I got Eagles -13. I just think they cover it. I mean, they're a great team.
That's a good one.
Miami -4.5. I just think that's a misstep against the Bears. I think they pulled them out easy. Detroit money line. Aaron Rodgers he's going to retire at halftime. He's going to go and just retire to the desert to just fry his brain for the rest of his days and dream about being on Jeopardy.
Wasn't there a Bills guy who retired at halftime at a game?
Yeah. Dude, I forgot. Oh, what was his name? But yeah, dude, he was a cornerback. And it's like, it's so funny. He was like, yeah, if you're looking for a laugh, I brought this up with Holden a few times, but like LaShawn McCoy and Tre'Davious White, they like hosted some live thing like a year or two ago, and they talked about that incident because they were on that team, and like about what he said. And Tre'Davious White's like impersonation is so crazy because this dude's voice is so high pitched. It's like, man, I'm done, man. I'm done. He's like, oh, you're done this series? Like, you need to sit out this series? He's like, no, I'm just done. I'm done this game. Like, oh, like you're injured? You're not going to play the rest of the game? Like, no, I'm never playing football again. It was just like it's just like the most ridiculous thing. So
is Tre'Davious White healthy or is he still out?
He is off the injured reserve list. We technically don't have to play him. There is speculation on whether I thought there was potential for him to play this past week, but I guess we're just playing it safe. He could play this week, he could not, or he could just be a healthy scratch, and we just, let him fully get back, and we're not going to rush him back. We're in no position to do so. But once we do, I think you're really going to see the secondary take another leap because he is just, gosh, he's so good. Great locker room presence, such a smart player. I mean,
that's LSU, baby.
DBU. Well, so here's something crazy. So we have a rookie, Kaiir Elam, from Florida, and when they do the Sunday night intros, they do, name and then college, and he said his name, and then he said DBU, and I was like, you didn't go to LSU. I was like, you went to Florida. I was like, I can't name another Florida secondary person, but you can literally just go on and on with Saints secondary. So I found that kind of interesting. Yeah. And I wonder what Tre'Davious White has to say about that, because
dude.
I mean, he did it all at LSU, I mean, honorable
punt
student.
Returner as well, dude.
Kick
they
return.
threw him back there. It was crazy.
He played hockey, he played goalie,
Wow.
Dude, he was just a beast. But yeah, so I got the Bills minus 13. I'm taking the Jags. They're a 1-point dog, but so I'll just take the money line just because it's the same thing. I'm taking Seattle's money line. I think they win outright, even though they're a 2-point dog. And
wowza.
And that's it. I want to take the Titans so bad because 12.5 is just such a ridiculous line. I'll sprinkle something on that. So those are my best bets.
That's how we do it, man. That's how it's done. You just get out there and you do it.
You just do it. That's what makes it the NFL. You just go out.
Yeah, my betting game hasn't been quite what it used to be, dude. I haven't placed a bet in quite some time.
Wow.
But so I apologize for coming on here now with some best bets, though.
It's okay. Not everyone bets. That's fine, dude. It's
but hey, I will reinforce that every single one that you had, that's also my best bet. So we'll just get like a double, just stamp of approval on there.
Yes.
That's right.
Stamp it. You have to ride that now. Dang. Well, got anything for the folks at home?
No, I'm just always honored to be on here and always happy to see you guys keeping at it. Yeah. And sorry that I didn't get to see Holden, but I hope I did a pretty good job filling in here tonight for the pod. And just everyone continue to give your thoughts and prayers to the New York Jets because they just really need you to keep them in your minds at all times. And that's kind of where we're at. So that's all I ask of our listeners here is to just no hate for them. Just say, hey, the Jets, they're doing great. They're doing the best they can out there. So
they're having fun. That's all that matters. They're earning a nice paycheck, dude. Well, thanks again for coming on. I really appreciate it. It's always great to see you. Hopefully I'll get to see you soon. Maybe come back up here, whenever. Yeah. I know you're big time now, but
Yeah, we'll have to get something going, my man. We'd love to do like me, you, Rachel Morgan, something we can all get out and do something together.
Dude, that'd be amazing. I'm all for it, and I know Morgan is too. So, but anyway, thanks for our lovely and loyal listeners. Another episode of Partially Biased. Make sure to ride the picks, like and subscribe. Hope you win all of your bets this week. Just go undefeated. It's just as easy as losing all of your bets if you think about it that way. So
that's right.
Anyway, Bills by a billion. Love you guys.
Love you guys. Bye.
Bye.